The Skeletal System, by Nicholas Salem. The skeletal system is the body system composed of bones, cartilages, ligaments, and other tissues that perform essential functions for the human body. The four main functions of the skeletal system are: it facilitates movement, produces blood cells, protects internal organs, and supports the body. There are three main types of joints in the human body: fibrous, cartilaginous, and synovial joints. There are 6 types of synovial joints: hinge, fingers and toes, ball and socket, hip and shoulder joints, pivot, neck, gliding, wrist, saddle, thumb joint, planar, ankle. There are 3 types of gibbous joints: sutures, skull, syndesmoses, lower leg, and emphases, mouth. There are 2 types of cartilaginous joints: synchondruses, immovable, and symphyses, movable. In the skeletal system, cartilage is a material found between joints and bones. It is made up of both collagen and chondroitin sulfate and resembles a sponge. Cartilage comes in 4 main different forms: hyaline cartilage, elastic cartilage, fabric cartilage, and calcified cartilage. Its main function is to work together with calcified bones and make the process of movement in the skeletal system smoother. Ossification is the developmental process of bone formation. It acts by converting fibrous tissue or cartilage into bones or bony substance. An example of this process is in the cranial bones. Mesenchymal cells in the skeleton come together and differentiate into specialized cells. Then they become osteogenic cells and begin to osteoblast, forming clusters called an ossification center. Platelets, red blood cells, and white blood cells are all produced in bone marrow. Bone marrow is commonly considered to be the soft fatty tissue inside bone cavities. In bone marrow there are stem cells, where these blood cells originate from. These stem cells then get divided, forming immature red and white blood cells. This cell continues to divide until it forms matured blood cells. Conditions of the skeletal system include osteopenia, leukemia, scoliosis, and osteoporosis. Osteopenia is when a human has a lower bone density than normal. This can lead to a greater chance of bone breaks and fractures from normal activities. Also, it can lead to osteoporosis, which is more severe. Leukemia is a cancer of the human's blood-forming tissues. These include bone marrow and the lymphatic system. In most cases, leukemia involves white blood cells, but the bone marrow now produces abnormal white blood cells which don't function. Scoliosis is a curvature of the spine which occurs sideways. It mainly occurs during the growth spurts of teens. Symptoms include uneven shoulders, uneven waist, and one hip is higher than the other. Osteoporosis is when bones become brittle and weak. Very similar to osteopenia, but even more extreme. It occurs when new bone doesn't keep up with the removal of old bone.